Tyrannosaurus rex. The name alone sends shivers through time. It means tyrant lizard king, and for good reason. This predator walked the earth between 68 and 66 million years ago, during the very end of the Cretaceous period. It was one of the last great dinosaurs before the cataclysm that wiped them all away. And yet, even now, millions of years later, its legacy remains unmatched. But what made T-Rex so fearsome? Let's step into its world. The world of T-Rex imagined the Earth during the late Cretaceous. The climate was warm, with lush forests, swamps, and coastal plains stretching across what is now North America. Giant rivers flowed through the land, surrounded by thick vegetation and teeming with life. Herds of Triceratops grazed in the open fields, while smaller dinosaurs darted between the ferns. Above, pterosaurs soared, their wings casting fleeting shadows on the ground below. And then, there was the T-Rex, a towering predator that dominated this landscape. At the very top of the food chain, size and power, the numbers alone are staggering. T-Rex could grow up to 40 feet long, stand 12 feet tall at the hips, and weigh nearly 9 tons. Its skull alone was more than 5 feet long, armed with nearly 60 teeth. Each one shaped like a banana, thick, serrated, and perfect for crushing bone. But the most terrifying statistic of all, its bite force. Scientists estimate it could generate over 8,000 pounds of pressure with a single bite, stronger than a modern crocodile, and powerful enough to snap bones like twigs. When T-Rex bit into its prey, it wasn't just tearing flesh, it was pulverizing skeletons. A predator's senses, but raw power, wasn't the only thing that made T-Rex dangerous. Its senses were just as lethal. Its eyes faced forward, giving it binocular vision, like hawks and eagles, allowing it to judge distance with deadly precision. Its sense of smell was extraordinary, with large olfactory bulbs in its brain that let it detect the faintest scent of blood from miles away. This combination of strength, vision, and smell meant one thing. Once T-Rex set its sights on you, there was no escape. Speed and movement. Despite its massive size, T-Rex wasn't slow. Some scientists believe it could reach speeds of 20 miles per hour. That may not sound fast, but imagine 9 tons of muscle charging toward you at that speed. The impact would be catastrophic, like being hit by a truck with teeth. Its long, muscular tail balanced its enormous head, allowing it to move with surprising agility for such a giant beast. Hunter and scavenger, but here's something surprising. While T-Rex is often shown as a relentless hunter, some scientists believe it was also a scavenger, stealing kills from other predators. After all, with its massive size and terrifying presence, few creatures dared to challenge it. This made T-Rex not just a predator, but also an opportunist, the ultimate survivor. Whether it hunted or scavenged, one thing was clear. When T-Rex arrived, it ate. The fear factor for the creatures of the late Cretaceous, T-Rex was more than just a dinosaur. It was a force of nature. Imagine a Triceratops grazing peacefully when the forest suddenly goes quiet. Birds scatter. The ground begins to tremble. And then, from the shadows, a massive figure emerges. The Triceratops raises its head, horns ready, but it knows what's coming. That was the terror of living in T-Rex's world, the symbol of power. Even in our modern age, T-Rex has captured the human imagination like no other dinosaur. From the first fossils discovered in the early 1900s, to its star role in movies like Jurassic Park, T-Rex has always been the symbol of ultimate prehistoric power. But here's the question we must ask. Was T-Rex truly unstoppable? Was it really the apex predator without rival? Because history tells us something different. For all its size, speed, and power, even T-Rex was not invincible. Some dinosaurs carried weapons strong enough to injure it, or even kill it. And in the battles of the prehistoric world, size and power were only part of the story. Narration closing part 1, cinematic tone. So yes, T-Rex was a king, but in every kingdom, there are threats to the throne. In the next chapter, we'll meet the rivals, giants from the rivers, armored tanks of the land, and horned warriors who dared to challenge the tyrant. The question is, who is strong enough to make the king tremble? The Tyrannosaurus Rex may have been the king of the land, but even kings have rivals. Some came from the rivers, some carried armor forged by evolution, and others wielded horns sharp enough to pierce through flesh and bone. And if T-Rex crossed paths with them, the outcome was far from certain. The river giant, Spinosaurus first, imagine a creature even larger than T-Rex, longer, heavier, and perfectly adapted for a world T-Rex could not rule, the water. This was Spinosaurus, stretching up to 50, even 60 feet in length. Spinosaurus was the largest carnivorous dinosaur ever discovered. Its crocodile-like jaws were lined with over 60 conical teeth, perfect for gripping slippery prey. But what made it truly unique was its lifestyle. Unlike T-Rex, Spinosaurus was semi-aquatic. Its long, paddle-like tail and powerful arms made it a deadly swimmer, hunting giant fish and even other aquatic reptiles. T-Rex versus Spinosaurus, a clash of titans. Now imagine the impossible, T-Rex and Spinosaurus meeting face to face. On land, T-Rex had the advantage, heavier jaws, bone-crushing teeth, and more powerful legs. But in the water, the tables would turn. Spinosaurus could pull its rival into the depths, using its long snout and claws to slash and drown. It's a battle that fans have debated for decades. And while these two dinosaurs never actually lived on the same continent or in the same time period, the idea of their clash remains one of the greatest what-ifs in paleontology. The armored tank, Ankylosaurus next, let's leave the rivers and enter the open plains. Here, a different kind of dinosaur roamed, one that looked less like a predator and more like a living fortress. This was Ankylosaurus, covered head to tail in thick, bony plates. Ankylosaurus was one of the best protected dinosaurs in history. Its back was a shield, its body a tank. Predators like T-Rex could bite, but rarely break through. And then there was the tail. At the end of its body swung a massive club of bone, as heavy as a sledgehammer. With one powerful strike, it could shatter bones, even the legs of a T-Rex. T-Rex versus Ankylosaurus. The deadly gamble a hungry T-Rex might have been tempted to attack, but the risk was enormous. If T-Rex managed to flip Ankylosaurus over, exposing its unprotected belly, victory would be swift. But if the Ankylosaurus landed just one blow with its tail, the king could fall. It was a dangerous gamble, and sometimes survival meant knowing when not to fight. The horned warrior. Triceratops. Finally, we come to the most famous rival of T-Rex. Not a giant from the rivers, not a tank of armor, but a horned warrior, Triceratops. With 3 massive horns and a frill like a living shield, Triceratops was a plant eater built for war. And unlike Ankylosaurus, Triceratops fought back. Fossil evidence tells us that T-Rex and Triceratops clashed often. Bones from Triceratops show deep puncture wounds from T-Rex teeth. But T-Rex fossils also reveal injuries, holes, and scars that may have been made by the horns of a charging Triceratops. T-Rex versus Triceratops, a prehistoric duel. Picture the scene. A lone Triceratops grazes in the clearing. From the forest, the king emerges, eyes locked on its prey. With a roar, the chase begins. The Triceratops lowers its head, horns gleaming in the sunlight. The ground shakes as predator and prey charge at each other. This was no simple hunt. This was war. For the T-Rex, victory meant food. But one mistake. one missed bite, and those horns could pierce straight into its chest. And in that moment, the hunter would become the hunted. The truth about rivals. So, who was the greatest rival of T-Rex? The giant Spinosaurus ruled the rivers and swamps. A predator T-Rex could never match in water. The armored Ankylosaurus carried weapons of defense that could break bones with a single strike. And the Triceratops, the horned warrior, may have been its deadliest opponent of all, locked in an eternal duel written into the fossil record. The king of the dinosaurs was powerful, yes, but in the prehistoric world, power alone was never enough. In the next chapter, we'll step back and look beyond T-Rex itself. Because across history, other predators rose and fell. Giants even larger, faster, or deadlier than the tyrant lizard king. And when we compare them all, we must ask, was T-Rex truly the ultimate predator of Earth's history? The legacy? Was T-Rex truly the apex predator? For over a century, Tyrannosaurus rex has been hailed as the ultimate predator. Its size, its power, its legend, unmatched in both science and imagination. But was T-Rex truly the deadliest hunter in Earth's history? Or was its crown shaped more by human fascination than prehistoric fact, giants of the past, other predators? To answer this, we must step back and look at other titans that once roamed the earth. First, there was Giganotosaurus, the giant southern lizard. Living in South America nearly 30 million years before T-Rex, it stretched over 43 feet long, rivaling the tyrant king in size. Its jaws weren't as powerful as T-Rex's, but its sheer length and speed made it a terror to the massive sauropods of its time. Then, there was Carcharodontosaurus, the shark-toothed lizard. With teeth shaped like serrated blades, this African predator grew nearly as large as Giganotosaurus, designed not to crush bone, but to slice through flesh with surgical precision. And even earlier still, the world knew Allosaurus, a lighter, faster hunter from the Jurassic period. It lacked the bulk of T-Rex, but with agility and numbers on its side, it hunted in packs, overwhelming prey with speed and strategy, the difference of T-Rex. So what made T-Rex stand apart? It wasn't just its size. It wasn't just its strength. It was the combination of everything. Bone-crushing bite, forward-facing eyes, keen sense of smell, muscular build. T-Rex wasn't merely a hunter. It was a masterpiece of evolution, a predator perfected for its time and place. While Giganotosaurus and Carcharodontosaurus were longer, their jaws were weaker, while Allosaurus was faster. It lacked the power. T-Rex was balance, the ultimate mix of size, speed, senses, and strength. Not invincible, but unmatched in versatility. The evidence in fossils, and the fossils tell the story. We found Triceratops bones scarred with deep bite marks, proof of T-Rex hunts. We've found T-Rex skeletons with broken bones that healed, showing how these giants survived brutal battles. We've even discovered coprolites, fossilized dung, filled with crushed bones. Evidence of just how devastating that bite could be. Every fossil is a chapter in the story of a predator that ruled until the very end, the end of the king, but even the mightiest predator could not escape fate. 66 million years ago, a massive asteroid struck the Earth, unleashing firestorms, tsunamis, and a darkness that blotted out the sun. The age of the dinosaurs ended, and with it, the reign of T-Rex. Yet in extinction, the king became immortal, because while other predators are remembered in textbooks, T-Rex became something more, a symbol. The king in our imagination. Tyrannosaurus rex is not just a creature of the past. It lives on in our culture, our movies, our imaginations. When Jurassic Park roared into theaters, it was T-Rex that stole the spotlight. Not Spinosaurus, not Giganotosaurus, not even Velociraptor. Why? Because T-Rex is more than just a dinosaur. It is the embodiment of fear, of power, of ancient majesty. In every roar on the big screen, in every toy on a child's shelf, in every fossil displayed in a museum, the king still rules. The final question, so, was T-Rex the ultimate predator? Perhaps not the biggest, not the fastest, not even the most invincible, but it was the most complete, the most perfectly adapted, and the most unforgettable. Even millions of years later, its legend has never died. And maybe that's the true measure of a king. Because while other giants are lost to history, Tyrannosaurus Rex will forever live on in our imagination. Which predator do you think was the greatest of all? Time, share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this journey into the prehistoric past, make sure to like, subscribe, and join us again on the Dino Era 4.0. The age of dinosaurs may be over, but their stories are eternal. Which predator would you fear the most? Tell us in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the Dino Era 4.0 for more prehistoric secrets.